Dun, dun. Hi everyone, impromptu live stream. I've decided that I'm going to go live every day this month, if I can. Maybe even longer. Um, I thought to myself, I've got some stuff to do today. Just been a second. Longer. Right. Yeah, I thought I'd go live every day this month. That was the aim. But then today, I didn't get much sleep last night up until some awful hour in the morning. And I've been really lethargic today. I did some exercise and it messed up my old bones, and I've been walking around like a cripple all day. So um, I wasn't going to go live. And I thought, nah, stick with the plan. Go live. Do a live stream. See, there's a few people watching now. Wonderful. Hi everyone. How are we finding this? Are we staying at home? Are we following everybody's advice? Are we or the government's advice, the experts' advice? Hi Grant, how are you? Lockdown in effect, says Courtney Harlow in New York. What do you think? It's people seem to be, I think, taking it more serious. I think the panic is subsiding a little bit now, and I think hopefully we're going to start seeing some semblance of sanity. You know, because obviously it's going to be a couple of months. Um, they're saying until we hit the peak. So the peak difficulty in this period, you know, we're still obviously infections are on the rise, and we've got to take it serious. We've got to stop at home and isolate. And I think people are slowly starting to realise that, and it's been more serious. I certainly don't want to catch it, although, as you can probably tell, I've got a bit of a cough anyway. But I think that's just because of the way the weather has been. I generally, you know, you can get the flu as well. Don't forget. Um, so I'm obviously stopping away from people as much as possible because you don't know whether you actually are infected. A lot of people who are infected by this carry it. They never ever show any symptoms, but obviously infect other people who they go home then and they, you know, pass the infection on to maybe an elderly member of their family or a member of their family who's got an underlying health condition, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're in hospital fighting for their lives. And it's not just the elderly either, although it does affect the elderly more than those who are younger and healthier. Um, I think we've all got to take it serious for their sake. Staying in, says Little Wrath. Staying in, man. Good, good. I'm staying in. I've been out. Like I said, did some exercise today. Walk the dog. Oh, God, I'm so unfit. I'm trying to get myself. I've been trying to get myself healthier for a while. I met somebody I want to spend the rest of my life with, so I thought, well, I really would need to try and extend my life for as long as possible. That's basically what happened to me. So that was why I've been a lot healthier over the last year, you know, quitting smoking and exercising. Really, I've got a real tickle in my throat. Hey, maybe I should get tested. They haven't got the test. We'll get to that, I'm sure. Um, but I'm even more so now. Look after your health, you know. So I've gone out today and I've been twisting and turning in ways that I haven't twisted and turned in decades, and it really messed me up to the point where I had to come home and go to sleep. I had to have a nap in the afternoon because I was buggered. Um, I've got a few things I want to talk about there, so I thought I'd go live. We could have had it weeks ago, says Jolly Ollie. Exactly. We just don't know. However many cases they are saying that there is, it's exponent. It's I say exponent. It's not the word. It's much higher because that's just the people who've been tested. There are nurses. There are nurses in hospital on ventilators who haven't been tested. Whereas Idris Elba, he's been tested, obviously. You know, I saw a guy asking a reporter asking Donald Trump that why is it that the rich people can get tested, but obviously poor people can't, and he wasn't happy about that line of questioning. You see what I mean there? You know, we're all going to have to we're all going to have to get we're all going to have to take this serious. Hopefully, they'll test more and more in the future. And but they have pulled up, you know, they've written in laws now, emergency laws, as I covered the other day, to force people to have a test. How is that emergency law going to be abused? How long is this emergency law going to be here? When it goes away, it won't fully go away. It'll morph into another law. You see what I mean? They can use it in all sorts of nefarious ways to neuter people that are a problem to them. We'll get into it. Greetings from Toronto. Just see some Rick Simpson oil to calm down, says David R. Isolating so far. I'm almost 71 in great shape. Exercising every second day. Fear alters your immune system. Be safe. Great advice, David R. Walsh. Rick Simpson oil is great, I think. And has got incredible medicinal qualities. It's fantastic, Rick Simpson oil. I love the drawing of you by D. Fuchs Art, says Little Wrath. Oh, let me show you. Let me show you. Somebody I met when I did the Scotland. I want to get this now. The Scots Defend Assange at Scots Defend article. Not article, event up in Scotland when with the speakers that the event that they put together. John White was there, Craig Murray, and there's an artist there called David Fuchs, and he took some pictures while I was there and said he was going to do a drawing of me, and he's done a drawing of me. It's fantastic. I'm going to call him Daniel Fuchs. Just is it Fuchs or Fox? It should be Fox. If I would. My surname is spelt that way. I'd call myself Mr. Fox. Look at that. That's me. Isn't that incredible, everyone? He really captured. He's captured my eyes. Yeah, it's funny. Thank you for that, Daniel. You're awesome. He's done some great drawings of people. Jackie Walker. He's done. My mate Chris. Solidarity. Solidarity, comrade. Best politician in the country. It was last year. Not Ian. Go check Daniel out. He's a great artist. He really is. Fantastic artist, says Ilhan Omar. There's Scott's Defendi, so I was right. Deeper. John Pilger. Fantastic artist, isn't he? Yeah, wonderful. So I look forward to that. I don't think it's finished yet. He said it's a work in progress. So I look forward to seeing that. It's ever so surreal that people. I don't think I've ever been drawn before once. Somebody else threw me as well. Nice. Steaming or going to a sauna kills almost any virus, says Mick B. Really? Also, there's a cure called chloroquine phosphate. Really? Is there? Okay, why is nobody talking about that? The reason nobody's talking about that, Mick B, unfortunately, not true. Saunas don't kill almost any virus. For it to kill almost any virus, the heat from within the sauna would have to be 180 degrees inside your lungs. That it would kill the virus then if the heat from the sauna was inside your lungs at 180 degrees. But at that temperature, it would kill you. That this is information that has somehow spread that is just, it's not right. Saunas are good for you. There's no doubt about that. But for them to kill a virus, for instance, a virus in your chest, the heat would have to be directly in your chest, in your lungs. So no, that's not right. Also, there is a cure called chloroquine phosphate. No, there isn't. There is chloroquine, which it is thought helps or treats it and is thought to be a cure, but this has to go through the testing process because it might be a cure at the moment. You go out and give it everybody, and then in a year's time, everybody dies from it because they have some allergic reaction. Without testing it on a group, on a control group, and all that bollocks that the medical people do, without testing it, they don't know whether it cures it, yes, but it also might kill you. We don't know yet. They've got to test it, and that's what they're doing now. So even though they're saying, oh, there's a cure, or people are saying there's a cure, no, there's not. There's something that they've isolated it, and they'll be able to figure it out, is what they're saying. Same as way AIDS is almost basically, they can cure you of it now. Whereas in the 80s, it would kill you dead, and there wasn't much they could do about it. But you see my point. I understand where you get that from. Why is nobody talking about that? That's the reason, Mick. It's not right. It's not true. Also, it helps prevent to get virus. I would say the best thing that you can do at the moment is keep healthy, is eat healthy. Although I've eaten this complete shit tonight, I must admit, complete shit. And I had a drink last night. Going stir crazy. We're only human. That's the best way to prevent the virus and to limit your contact with other people. Practice social distancing as much as possible and keep yourself healthy. That's the best thing that you can do to prevent it. Obviously, people. I think that somebody was saying zinc is, really good for you, but I think they've just gone zinc is really good for you because it's in chloroquine. I think that's the way they've gone. So you've got to listen to the experts. That's the thing. Listen to the NHS website. Listen to what the experts are saying rather than what they're saying on Facebook. Because otherwise you're giving people false information and false hope, and they might think, oh, I'll take some zinc tablets and I'll be all right, Jack, and then end up going spreading it to a load of people who go home and give it to their grandmothers who then die. We've got to be really collectively responsible. And once we're collectively responsible, we'll be able to take it to these motherfuckers from the comfort of our own home, because we're not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Looks like they've basically shut this country down for 2 to 3 months. Boris Johnson was mentioning 12 weeks to kick his ass. I think that's basically what he's got in mind. 2 to 3 months of us basically in isolation like this. there's going to be a lot of things that we can think about. There's going to be a lot of things that we can go, no, no. This is the way we're going to do it going forward. We want to know about this. You see my point? There's going to be, we can make a lot of fucking demands right now. And I don't think people have realised this. These Amazon workers who are being, let me just record this actually. We've seen today that, I've seen reports anyway, if I can get to it. I think it was on the BBC website, where Aldi and Lidl and all the supermarket chains, there's all sorts of deals that they're making at the moment between them to, you know, obviously alleviate the strain on the supply lines of food, etc. And they're scaling back. For instance, I heard them say that 17 different types of sausages have now come down to 7, you know, that sort of thing. Limiting our range of choice, which really we don't need. I mean, it's just pathetic, especially with the size differences of some things. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, there's obviously, they're hiring more people as well. See if I can find it. Live show. I'll cut this in the edit. Supermarkets hiring. Yeah. So here it is. Oops, no. So here it is. Supermarkets Tesco, Asda, Aldi and Lidl go on hiring spree. Supermarkets have gone into on a hiring spree as demand surges as a result of the coronavirus crisis. Tesco, Asda, Aldi and Lidl say they would hire thousands of staff after hugely increased demand saw shoppers clearing shelves. That move came before the government said it would pay the wages of workers at firms affected by the pandemic, and Sainsbury's has asked shoppers to stay a metre away. And like I say, I think the panic is starting to subside, and people and calmer heads are starting to prevail in the public now anyway. And we've got another couple of months of this, so we can clear our heads and start thinking straight. But what I was thinking here was, you know, I mentioned it in a tweet last night. Our lives for the next 2-3 months are now basically going to depend on the people who are most persecuted and most underpaid and most put upon, and most whose working rights and what have you have been eroded, and working conditions have been eroded by capitalism. And I'm thinking specifically, obviously, of the nurses and the doctors who are totally underpaid. Our lives are now in their hands. The government's lives and the families of the MPs, etc., all their lives and the lives of their families are now in the hands of these people who they have been screwing left, right and centre by getting rid of their jobs and crappy pay for junior doctors, etc., etc., etc. Now, our lives are in their hands, and their lives are in their hands. You see my point. And then you've got these workers. Oops. Then you've got these workers who have just been, you know, there's going to be a hiring spree. What's going to happen when all of this subsides? What's going to happen? You know, those thousands of extra staff, where are they going to go? Is that going to be a guaranteed job? What sort of rights are they going to have? Are they just going to be, you know, used and then sacked in a few months? And then I started thinking about it, and we started talking, and I started thinking, hold on a minute. So the people whose lives our lives now depend on, are not only the nurses and the doctors, but also the Amazon delivery drivers and the Amazon workers, because obviously there's going to be a hell of a lot more home deliveries. while this crisis is going on. You see where I'm going here. And Amazon workers have been screwed the most with stories, it's horrific stories of them having to pee in bottles because they're not afraid to take a break. They're too afraid to take a break, take a pee break because, 3 strikes and you're out, you lose your job. And stories over in America of, it was cheaper for Amazon to have ambulances on standby outside the factory than it was to have the air conditioning inside the factory. So rather than give them air conditioning, the workers, they decided, no, we'll just hire 2 ambulances to put outside. Now, our lives depend on these people. People have got to realise something. These people who've been fucked, who've been screwed, you at home, watching this right now, think about it. You've got a real opportunity. Because these Amazon workers right now could just go, nah, fuck you, and down tools. These shop workers who, these are going to be temporary staff. I guarantee you, these are temporary staff that are going to be hired. Temporary. And then if things don't change, they're going to be cast aside in a few months. It's going to happen. And how much they're going to get paid? They're going to get paid well? Are they going to get paid the shitty minimum wage? Our fucking lives depend on them right now. They're going to work shitty minimum wage as well. I was talking to somebody in the transport industry, and there's going to be massive extra pressure on the transport industry to deliver all the food up and down the country during this crisis. These people who have, I don't want to be too fine a point in it, but honestly, you speak to some long distance lorry drivers in this country and you see how it used to be 20, 30 years ago, a long distance lorry driver, you could have a house, you could have a car in the garage, you could have your 3 kids, you could do really quite well. You could do as well as the boomers did years ago. Just being a long distance lorry driver in this country 20, 30 years ago. Not anymore. Why? Because, people are cheaper, especially labour from other countries, in the EU. Maybe, the licence over here just to go through your HGVs and become a long distance lorry driver, it's thousands. If you're from somewhere in Eastern Europe, and I don't want to mention a country here just because, you see the point, this is not an accurate description, I'm just doing it for effect, but, they jump in the cab and drive 20 yards down the street, jump out, and there's your licence. They work longer hours, less wages. That's what people have seen in this country. People have seen the erosion of their lifestyles and their wages. Western wages slide down to Eastern European levels. So efficient exporters and companies and big companies can compete with China on the global scale. That's essentially what neoliberalism is. And we've got an opportunity right now to fucking kill it dead. Dead. To kill it. Dead. Stab, stab. Far be it from me to tell these people, listen, if you want to strike, oh my God, that would be a great opportunity right now. But I wouldn't, you've got leverage, is what I'm saying. We've got leverage right now. Our lives are going to depend on these people. And I think, this this hiring driver, if I was actually going to, go and get a job here, I'd be definitely making sure that, I've got some sort of guarantees on paper going forward so I'm getting secure after this pandemic crisis is over. Start making demands, people, and start getting organised, because at times of crisis, one thing I know for certain, especially times of like crisis during a wartime government, which is what we've got because of this, you know, basically nothing being open and the shutdown of the economy in the middle of a market crash as well. It's almost unprecedented. In times of crisis, people are grabbing for power all over the place. At times of crisis, there was major opportunity. There's a big opportunity here for the workers, not just of this country, but of the world. And of uniting together and saying, we're not going to put up with your shit anymore. We're not going to put up with you taking all the power and feeding us on breadcrumbs. You're going to start treating us more equally. And stop treating us like we're the lower class animals in George Orwell's Animal Farm. I'll drop that tomorrow. I think that's pretty good. I enjoyed that. They've studied the coronavirus since 1965. Why isn't there a cure? There's not a cure for the common cold, mate. There's not a cure for the flu. The coronavirus is also, it's just a strain, corona. It's like saying the Novichok. Novichoks were a type of nerve agent. Corona is just a type of virus, and they can mutate and they can change. I mean, this one mutated recently, they're saying. But there are, you know, the jury's out onto how it. I don't think we're going to find out for sure how this virus came to be and whether it did jump from mutate from an animal or whatever, or whatever it is. I don't think we're ever going to find out what it really was. And when they do come out and say this is what it was, I won't believe them anyway, because they fucking lie to us about everything. So that's the situation. Trying to use this less and less. Yellow vests throughout the world, says David Gregory. Not necessarily yellow vests. You can, you know, we've got the power right now. We've got the power right now. The average working class person has the power. It's going to be interesting what they do with it. It's going to be interesting whether they listen to the government's bullshit line that inevitably is going to become when they say, oh, don't worry, you do it now, we'll sort it out later. We'll look after you, don't worry. This is not the time for that shit. This is the time for getting guarantees. This is the time for making sure you get shit now. That. Okay. So there's an opportunity at the moment. The working class, the workers, they have the power right now. You know, the Amazon worker, the nurse, the doctor, the shelf packer, the checkout assistant at, you know, the at supermarkets, the takeaway driver, you know, who's on a 0 hours contract. Let's not forget about that. All these people on 0 hours contracts. Look at all the gym people. All the gyms have closed right now. In the country, they've ordered it. Close the gyms. All of these gym instructors and what have you, what are they on? 0 hours contracts. So they've gone from essentially what the government would say is a full-time wage to now, what, £98 a week, job seekers? Is that what they're going to get? let's listen to what the government has actually said they're going to give these people that, whose lives now we depend on. Because the first thing they've done is actually not come out on the side of the people who our lives are now going to depend upon, but actually what they've come out on the side of is just workers who are not going to be working and sitting at home. Now, this is great. 80% of workers. But then you start scratching under the surface and you start poking around, you start asking questions, you start thinking, yeah, this is the wrong fucking way to do things and you're going to screw us over again, aren't you? Yeah, you are. This is what they're doing, everybody. They're trying to pull a fucking fast one here. They're trying to pull the wool over your fucking eyes again. The government will pay the wages of employees unable to work due to the coronavirus pandemic in a radical move aimed at protecting people's jobs. It will pay 80% of salary for staff who are kept on by their employer, covering wages of up to £2,500 a month. Okay, all right, fine. £2,500 a month, you're going to pay people's wages who are going to be sitting at home, self-isolating and basically taking things serious and following government advice. Fantastic. But as I said yesterday, what about all of the people in what we call the culture industry? I suppose I could be, I'm a freelancer. But I'm thinking specifically, people in pubs and clubs, people who work in gyms, comedians, singers, entertainers, all these people now who can't. These are not people who have paid a wage in PAYE, what they call PAYE. These are people who are all self-employed. What about them? And when you give up to £2,005 a month for workers, is it going to be up to £2,500 a month for people in the culture industry? Why are you treating people differently here? Why is X worth more than Y? You see my point? Why is it you're paying the wages of the people who are sitting on their asses at home playing Xbox right now, £2,500 a month, but you're still paying the fucking Amazon worker and you're still paying the fucking people who are working at the supermarkets and the people who are working at the fast food restaurants, you're still paying them minimum wage. They're not getting any extra boost, are they? Do you see what I mean? Why is it that the people doing the work are the people who are getting fucked the hardest again? Nikki says that 80% doesn't affect people who work through employment agencies. They're screwed and have to claim universal credit. Stop treating people unequally. You motherfuckers. Stop it. I've had enough of this shit. They're trying it again. They're trying again for you to pulling the wool over your eyes. I made a tweet last night to basically say, listen, it's time to press pause on everything here. It's time to go boop. We've got a massive pandemic. We've got a global crisis in the middle of an economic global crash of the likes that we have never seen, you and I. We have never seen it. You have to go back 1929 to the one that's going to be this bad. And you know what? Even 1929 might be... Historians might go, but 1929 was bad, but 2020, you see what I mean? And also, because we're in the middle of a pandemic, it's wartime rules. Everything shuts down. You've got a perfect opportunity here to go, boop, press pause on things and get, you know what? For the next few months, can we start asking people things and utilising wisdom of the crowd and start, getting some sort of plan going forward to do things better, because the way we've been doing them is fucking insane. I said in that tweet, give people a UBI, a universal basic income. Boom, there you go. Your food, your water, the roof over your head. You can get by on this. There's your UBI. Everybody gets it. Treat everybody equally. Just print the fucking money. To which then people started jumping in my thread, started going, oh, well, you know, you print the money and then the inflation. And it's like, you bollocks. Stop thinking like that. Stop thinking within their fucking construct, within their narrative. The financial system is built upon loads of bollocks that gives all the power to people. It gives them all the power. Stop thinking that this financial system, this economic system that we live in is gospel and we have to work within the constraints of this system. It's like we have to work in this within the constraints of the two-party system. No, we fucking don't. We can change it. The financial system as we've seen it, this economic system, it's only been around a few hundred years. I don't know whether you know, but we've been around quite a few 1,000 years more than that. Create a better fucking system. We don't need these central banks. And right now, we've got Trotsky's fucking dream. Right now, honestly, I've been learning a little bit about history, and Trotsky would be absolutely salivating right now at what he would be thinking. He'd be thinking, fuck me, this is his wet dream. As I understand it, was it Stalin or Lenin? Anyway, it doesn't matter which one. When there was the gap in power, there was Stalin or Lenin, I can't remember which one it was, and Trotsky. And they were the people who were vying for the leadership. And Trotsky lost out and, ended up with a pickaxe in the back of his head. After trying to, bring communism to other countries in the world, and everybody was afraid of it. But basically where Trotsky and the guy's ideology changed is Trotsky was like, no, we need all countries to do this. All the working class in all countries to do it, to get together, to really implement this. Whereas the other guy, I can't remember whether it was Stalin or Lenin. It's been a long day and I've been tired. But the other guy was, no, we need to do it in one country and use that country as a model for then other countries to come on board, of which obviously he's not. You could implement it right now. And you could implement it in a way that would be great and give people a bog standard, a standard of living that where everybody is taken care of. You could do it. Like I say, Trotsky, I don't know, as is evident, I don't know all of the details, but I know enough to say he would be absolutely salivating at the thought of the crisis we're in right now, because he would be just looking at this crisis as if to say, this is a massive opportunity. It really fucking is. It's a massive opportunity for the working class to say no. Especially if you look at who they have missed out, the government, in their thinking here. Self-employed need financial help, unions warn. Of course. What are they going to do? All these people who are on a fucking 0 hours contract now, all these people who are in the self-employed industry, whose incomes are going to go down, are going to be much less. What? All of a sudden, you're going to give them £98.70 a week, are you? Is that what it is? You're going to give them £98.70 a week, but the people who have lost their jobs, who have just lost their jobs, people who have been sacked in the last few days, even though the government said don't do it. Are they going to get the £98.70 a week? Well, meanwhile, people who haven't lost their jobs, they're getting 80% of their wages up to $2,500. This is not fucking fair. Stop treating people unequally. Stop it. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. Is this the way you actually fucking think? Because it looks like it, and I hear calls today from people that this guy, this Rishi Sunak, he's going to be the next prime minister, and he's wonderful, and he's riding. No, he's fucking not. Trump is not going to do. He's not doing any of this shit. Trump in America right now is out-lefting not just the Conservatives, but the Labour Party, I think, as well. He's just like, yeah, okay, was it $1,200 checks? He's like, yeah, we're going to take this means of production here, and here, and they're going to start pumping out, was it face masks they said he was going to start pumping out? Meanwhile, these pricks, these rich, privileged pricks, are divvying things up in the same idiotic, stupid fucking way these twats always do. And the plebs are going, oh yeah. Open your eyes. Open your eyes to what the possibility is that you have right now. Yes, look after yourself. It's a pandemic. You know? But stop looking to these fucking people as if they've got the answers, because they haven't. The only answers that he's going to come up with is an answer that is going to fuck you as best as he possibly can without you turning on him with pitchforks. UBI. Give people a UBI. Stop treating people differently. And people stop thinking within the constructs of the very paradigm that they fucking create out of thin air. Poof! The financial system, oh, well, if you print money, then you'll do inflation. It's like, well, just, like I say, press pause on everything. Figure out a different fucking way of doing it. Because I've just read a great book by David Graeber. And this financial system that we have, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. I was at one stage I was thinking I need to get Richard Wolff on, I need to get Steve Keen on, I need somebody to explain, I need Max Kaiser, some expert to explain me. You don't need any of them. What you need is either an anthropologist to say, no, this is actually the way humans actually construct themselves, and it's the way that... You need an anthropologist to actually do that. He can explain it. Or you need Al Murray, the pub landlord. He'll explain the world, global economic system and the financial system and the markets, etc., better than any economist can. Because the truth is, it's a fucking Ponzi scheme. And we don't need it. So stop thinking giving everybody money is inflation's going to go up. Is it? What if we fucking ditched that system and did something else? Because we've got a real opportunity to do it right now. And you pouring scorn over every idea and saying, no, you'll do it, blah, 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 blah. You right now are standing in the way of people fucking grabbing their rights. The very things that you say that you've been fighting for. Stop demonizing people and start thinking and start really trying to have a conversation, because we are not going to be able to do much while we're in this period of self-isolation and quarantine, so to speak, for the next few months. So we might as well start having a conversation and getting organised, because if we don't, all we're going to be doing for the next 2 or 3 months is sitting on Twitter and Facebook and watching the BBC whilst they shove celebrities singing Imagine down our fucking throats. Start demanding more. I know I am. Alright, I'm just going to go for a little bit of a break because I need to make another coffee. And then I've only been going 45 minutes. So I'll be back in... Well, I'll put my countdown on so you've got some music. shall I? And I'll be back.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
This is not a drill.
Repeat, this is not a drill.
Is that all you got?
Let's begin now.
What up? Oh, for sure.
I'm back with my coffee and my vape. With my coffee and my vape. Something's happening here. Oh no. I thought that was David Gregory. I thought you were writing song lyrics. Something is happening here and you don't know what it is. Do you, Mr. Jones? I thought you were going. Something's happening here. And what it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there. And he's telling me I've got to beware. Hi, Little Wrath. He's right. We get more. I'm just doing a brew myself. Good on you, mate. Great. David Gregory's amazing, says Nikki. Yes, he bloody is. Don't forget to hit the like, please. Yeah, thank you. If you have got any spare cash in this time, I really would appreciate it via PayPal. Obviously, my patronage is still going. If you are a monthly subscriber of mine and you can't afford it during this time, suspend the payments. You know, get yourself through it. We're all in this together. If you need the money more, then if you need that money, you suspend the payments to me. If you can, and you are financially stable, then please send what you can. Really appreciate it. But we're all in this together, and yeah, we're all in this together. So I'm not going to be begging for money like I normally do during normal situations. I'm actually going to be saying the opposite. If things are going to be tight for you over the coming months, listen, spend, I give everything I do away free anyway. It's not like I'm one of those people who hide behind a paywall or give you extra from memberships, etc., etc. I just give everything away. I do away for free and just say to people, enjoy yourself. Give me $1 if you like it. That's basically what it is. And I think that we can build a society like that. I know I sound like a fucking lefty loon now, but honestly, I do think we can build society like that, and a better society that actually cares for each other. It's me there. People say I'm the dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Tories are pandering to the middle class people with permanent employment contracts. Fuck everyone else. Exactly. They're doing the very thing. They're almost doing the thing to see how much they can get away with right now. You can see this with Rishi Sunak. Nikki M says, Tories are pandering to the middle class people with permanent employment contracts. Fuck everyone else. This is exactly what they're doing. When you think about it, I can imagine the Tories are there behind closed doors going, listen, guys, okay, we've got to look after our pals, obviously, we've got to look after people, Do you see how much, I know our lives are going to depend on those people that we fucked terribly, and, that we've punished incredibly with a decade of austerity that we really didn't have to do it. We didn't have to punish it. We didn't have to hit them with a decade of austerity that's killed about 200,000 of them. But now our lives are depending on those very people. The people in the what they called unskilled workers. They're going to now be the lifeblood of our country, right? But the thing is, what have they done straight away? They've come out and the first thing they've done is look after the people who were paying tax. The workers who are going to be sitting at home. They're not the first. The first impulse with the Tory party is to look after their own, and to look rather than the people that their very livelihoods and lives are going to rely on for the next few months. I can imagine that they've sat there and gone, should we see how far we can go until these plebs were doing all the fucking work and we've crushed for 10 years and, 40 years of neoliberalism. We've screwed them royally. Should we see if we can screw them again? Should we see if we can get them to do all the work and say, don't worry, we'll sort you out afterwards, and never do? You think we can do it? Yeah, let's try it, shall we? You can see. And people were like, oh, well done, Rishi. People are fucking clinically insane, I swear. Wave the Rules says, please don't sing again, Gordon. My channel, mate. Thanks very much for the 10 quid. People say I'm a dreamer. I'm a good singer, mate. I have the same coffee cup. Royal Norfolk says Upstate Radio. Is that what it is? I don't know. My mum bought me a plate set for Christmas a few years ago because I had like 4 plates from IKEA. I think I had 4 plates from IKEA for the first 8 years I lived in my flat. I really was like a man behaving badly for quite some time. Keep one eye on your health and one eye on the so-called leaders, says Jolly Ollie. Hear, hear. Both eyes on them, mate. Yeah. There was a few things I wanted to get to. I did that. Of course, for more help for the society, I did that. So in America, Tulsi Gabbard suspended her election campaign. I haven't dropped that video actually. I talked about it in one of my live streams. It was upsetting that she endorsed Joe Biden. Oh, she didn't endorse him. She actually just supported him. Really? Go to a dictionary or a thesaurus and look up other words for endorse. You're splitting hairs, guys. She's endorsed a warmonger, and this is obviously goes against everything that she stood for. But I had a time to actually see, and I was obviously really disappointed. We both were, you know. My fiance is a big supporter of Tulsi Gabbard, and she felt like she's thrown a base overboard. And I think I touched on that a little bit in my video the other night. I watched the interview which she did with Jimmy Dore tonight. And she's for the first time, she started looking like a politician to me. And her answers started sounding like a politician's answers. And that left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. Now, having said that, I do understand that she's in a bit of a tough situation there, and no matter what she does, she's not going to win. She's not going to win any fans from really anybody, no matter what she does. I said this last night on Twitter. It was last night, and I had a beer as well. So you're lucky that I made any fucking sense at all. But it says, yes, it hurts Tulsi Crats or Tulsi stands. People have been calling them Tulsi stands. It's like, come on. I'd say they were called hurt and confused. That's what they really are, the Tulsi supporters. I said, I know this sucks, but practice it. The race was over. It was. The race to be the Democratic nominee was over. It's finished. They won a rigged race. Yippee for them. They really had to show how rigged it all was to win there. It's a time of crisis. She has National Guard duty to think about. She did everything she said she would from the very start, and she never lied. That's actually a true statement. I think the only way you could probably say that maybe she lied in that she said that, you know, she said all along, what's the point in us beating Donald Trump if you just end up with another warmonger? And it's like, well, you've just endorsed a warmonger, you know? So, but with regards to her running within that construct of the two-headed beast that is the, you know, democracy in America, you know, she played by the rules, whereas, as I pointed out in that tweet, they didn't. They had to change rules. They had to rig it so she wasn't on the debate stage. They had to eliminate her airtime when she was on there. They had to ignore her. The only people who really gave her a fair chance in the media were Fox fucking News, which is just insane. They had to show how rigged the whole thing was. Whereas she actually was true to her, everything she said, especially with regards to the DNC. When you think, you know, Neera Tanden, etc., all these people were trying to make out that she was some sort of Russian agent and the favourite to the Russians, and Hillary Clinton was saying that was like she endorsed but Joe Biden now. Is Biden now Putin's buddy? You know? There were also, you know, she said all along she wouldn't run for a third party, and they all, oh, well, will you run third party? They never believed it. It put all that to bed. So all the things that her detractors were flinging at her, all the attacks they had against her, none of them actually stuck. None of those attacks stuck. Like I say, you could say, you know, you're part of the problem then if you're endorsing a warmonger. Why couldn't you? I mean, I think the best thing that she could have done is just not endorse anybody. Because endorsing Bernie would be useless anyway, because Bernie's going to endorse Biden in 5 minutes anyway. The race, like I say, the race is over. It's a time of crisis. There's a global pandemic. She's in the National Guard. She's gone back to Hawaii to get ready. She's a major. It's starting to look a little bit, when you think about it, it is to me anyway, it's becoming a little bit more glass half full than glass half empty. And I continue, this is a volatile time, Great Depression territory or worse. There's a global pandemic. Like I say, it's almost as if it's wartime governments that are in control right now. Where there's an attack on our country, if you like, or our countries on the world, on our species. Wartime governments are in control. There's no economy to speak of. Everything's shut down. And she's got to go and do her duty. You know, she'll be needed in the National Guard. She's a major. She now has a massive platform to build upon going forward. And a history of being honest, thoughtful, true to her word, and doing what is morally right. In my mind, it's starting to look a little bit more than glass half full here. You know, she's a 36-year-old woman of colour who has all the qualifications to be a great leader. She's military background, so she's going to appeal to a lot of conservatives. You know, they value that discipline. She obviously, the liberals will love her because she's young and she's a woman of colour and she'll be the first Hindu, etc. And like I say, she and you, if you're a Tulsi supporter like I am, may have lost this battle, but, you know, let's face it, it always was going to be a losing battle, this one was. It's only, you could only do as much as you could to make the whole process look as fucking rigged as it was. So the people demanded a change going forward. And when you look at it, that maybe was achieved. We'll see in the coming months whether people actually get behind it and make use of the opportunity that they've got right now to demand a different way. And I then said she'll be around for many more fights to come, and she's on the side of the people. And there's no doubt about that. Her record proves it. And I said, I'm still with Tulsi. That's the reasons I am still with Tulsi. I understand if you're really disappointed. I understand it's a real kick in the fucking teeth. And this is why I can't stand politics. This is why I hate politics. This is why I've got the political acumen of a newt. They get in the politicians and politics gets in the way of progress. It doesn't enable it. We've got to stop getting in the way of progress, because if we carry on doing what we're doing, we're doomed. China have figured out a better way. Look at what they're doing. Look at their economy. Look at everything that they're building. They're building 6,000 miles of motorway a year. I live in the Midlands. They've been repairing a 100-metre stretch at Junction 9 of the M6 all of my fucking life. While China are building 6,000 miles of motorway a year. Honestly, there's a junction between Junction 10, I'd say, and Junction 7 of the M6. It's been under repair ever since I can remember. And China are building 6,000 miles of motorway a year, and it's not on the... It's up in the mountains. We are going to have to figure out a better way forward. And I, for one, I'm glad that at least over the other side of the Atlantic, I know, or at least it seems like there's going to be somebody who's going to be around for quite some time, having a real big voice and a big platform going forward. If you ask me, yeah, lost the battle. The war's yet to be won. And there's reasons to be cheerful. Oh, let's have a look at the comments. I know people are not going to, some people are not going to be happy with me doing that video, I know. Gordon's singing might just scare off the coronavirus, says Funky Monk. I'm a fucking great singer. Respect my authority. Love you guys. I have lyrics that will make Gordon sound awesome. Are they Bono's? are they Bono's lyrics from Sing Across the Rooftops? John Pilger's The Coming War with China is happening. Oh. It's happening. I think it's already been lost. Cheryl Brandon, hi Cheryl. She says, how much is US Labs charging Americans for the COVID-19 tests? 35,000 and above. Well, I saw something earlier. this shocked me, this did. This is Joe Biden, presumptive nominee for president. Look, fat. I'll go, you know the thing. Anyway. He says this coronavirus test should be made widely available and free. The coronavirus vaccine, when ready, should be made widely available and free. Treatment for coronavirus should be free too. We're in a crisis. Nobody should have to pay for their coronavirus healthcare costs. I want you to know something. Joe Biden had to move to this position. He was dragged to this position. He was dragged to this position because not of how I don't think Bernie Sanders has been dragging him left, but how Trump has been dragging them left. It's incredible what they're doing over there. You know, if Brits find out about what he's doing, he's giving people free stuff. Second, let's find it. This is TechCrunch. Oh, come on. This is TechCrunch. Trump admin wants to send American workers cash immediately. This is March 17th. So this is a few days ago. This is happening. This is happening, people. They're sending people UBI checks. They're sending people temporary checks. Trump is dragging the DNC left. Because there's no way Biden would be saying that if the guy in the White House was doing what Obama was doing. Think about it. He was VP. Oh shit, no, that's the wrong tweeting. Yeah, so think about it. I mean, he was vice president to Obama during the 2008 crash. Remember? In the 2008 crash, Obama bailed out the bankers. He bailed out the companies. He bailed out Wall Street. Trump's sending checks to the people. Trump is dragging the DNC left. You know, I showed that Lawrence O'Donnell clip a few weeks ago, about a week ago, and how Lawrence O'Donnell was on tape decades ago saying you can't, the only way that you can reform the Democratic Party is just by saying, listen, if you don't do this, I'm not going to vote for you. I'm not going to vote for you. And they never did it. And they were dragged further and further and further right. And now it's got to the point where the roles have been reversed. And what Trump is doing is dragging the Democrats left. Nancy Pelosi the other day was caught saying that, that it was going to be affordable. Somebody's already, as Cheryl pointed out, has been treated for COVID-19 in America and faced a bill of $35,000. This is neoliberalism, guys. This is what it's doing. This is what it's done. And this is the ridiculous scenario we're in now as a result of 40 years of it just carrying on rampant. It broke in 2008 and we still haven't fixed it. They're just, sooner or later, they're going to realise, oh, fuck, this system's shit, man. Can we just try another one? I suggest, you know, we need to find a better way. Joe Biden, though, getting pulled left by Trump. Who'd have thunk it? That was a shit one, though. DJ Gordon, when you see this, you editing this, try and edit that clip that you've just done as best as you can, because that was wank. You all over the place. Okay. Hi everyone. I've said tonight. You know what? Stop that again. Let's not rush this little segment because I think you're gonna be interested in this one, everybody. I haven't talked much about this, but we're gonna start talking about Prince Andrew more. We have a chat about Prince Andrew, everybody, and the latest with him. Maybe the billionaires can see the pitchforks, so need to quell the building dissolution. Don't think the pitchforks are even close, Stevie Jeebies. Don't think they are. If there's one good thing, I'm going to touch on this in the video more tomorrow. I was going to do it tonight, but I'll do it tomorrow. I have something to talk about. If there's one thing that I think this self-isolation might cure, it's our obsession with celebrities. Because I think what people are starting to realise is these celebrities are all arseholes who only fucking care about themselves. And if the cameras are not on them for 5 minutes, they go fucking insane. So I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do a video about that tomorrow. I'm going to do a video tomorrow about the wisdom of the crowd. And I'm going to announce it quite early on tomorrow, I think, and go live like at 7 or 8 o'clock. And try and do a wisdom of the crowd experiment. See if we can get a couple of hundred people watching and actually do an experiment and see how many people can guesstimate something and try and figure it out. you know? Because honestly, I've been looking at it, and it's like, why aren't we fucking doing something like this? So we'll talk about that tomorrow, and we'll talk about this, you know, people's obsession with celebrities, I think, is going to fucking quickly disappear over the coming weeks. No, I haven't yet, Nikki. I'm going to do a video about the Windrush report. They have buried the fuck out of that, you are right. Hi everybody, I saw an article today in the Morning Star that asked a question, and I'd like to now ask that question of you. Prince Andrew. Has Prince Andrew been rescuing young girls from sex trafficking all along? The answer, of course, is no. And they actually answer. To be fair to the Morning Star, they do answer it in the title. Has Prince Andrew been rescuing young girls from sex trafficking all along? No. This is a brilliant article by Peter Frost, and I am going to read it to you now. I think we all need to know about this. Just when we thought Prince Andrew had run out of lies, we hear that despite assurances that he would be happy to give an interview to criminal investigation authorities on his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, the FBI tells us that Andrew has given them, quote, zero cooperation following requests for an interview about his close friendship with the convicted paedophile. Wish they'd start saying in the media convicted paedophile and Mossad agent, Mossad honey trap. You know, I suppose they'll start saying that in the coming, I don't know, century when we finally figure out the truth with it. After we're all long dead. Continues. Prince Andrew has been keeping his head down generally. I bet he has. Just to be clear, this isn't the same thing as his favourite face down massage. Bravo. Some 230 charities and universities of which he was patron or similar have sacked him or hinted they want nothing more to do with him. Bravo. Great. His mother, the Queen, thank you for reminding us, Peter Frost, that the friend of convicted paedophile and probable honey trap agent extraordinaire Jeffrey Epstein, his friend Prince Andrew, the Queen is his mother. Thanks for reminding us. It seems he's pleased about this. He's pleased about it. She hopes it may protect the monarchy from further embarrassment and humiliation. No, it fucking won't. No, it won't. No, it won't. Not while people like me have breath in our bodies, it won't. This guy is fucking horrific, and there's a rot that runs through the establishment and ruling elite in this country, and we need to whip it the fuck out. Andrew and his ex-wife Sarah Fergie Ferguson, with whom he still lives, are a bit disappointed. Many of the charities provided the prince or both of them with all expensive paid visits to many exotic locations at home and abroad. This fucking rich motherfucker who was born with a silver spoon shoved right up his asshole is now using his charity to go on junkets abroad. Honestly, it makes me sick. Stick around though, because this is going to make you feel even sicker. Also, each organisation held a formal royal lunch or dinner each year, providing 2/3 of the couple's annual nosh. It's a great big circle jerk. The pair will get no more free tickets to the English National Ballet. Oh, what a bitch. They're going to have to start paying for their tickets to the ballet, which their charity would usually provide to them, or people who are donating to the charity. The pair will get no more free tickets to those events, both of which had him as a patron. Okay. Charities involved with young children were quick to realise his connection with a convicted paedophile, as well as accusations made about his own behaviour with underage girls could be embarrassing to to say the least. Out he went. It seems even the Queen pulled the plug on a planned 60th birthday party for Andrew in February, despite Andrew being her favourite child. God, not really a high bar, is it? Despite Andrew being her favourite child. Despite Andrew being the tallest kid in class. The big palace bash was downsized to a discreet family gathering. Really? Discreet family gathering? Just, tight family and friends. I assume Ghislaine Maxwell was there. The prince appears to be trying to hang on onto his role with what was called Pitch at Palace, a scheme for young entrepreneurs, rather like Dragon's Den, with Prince Andy as chief dragon. And this is where this convicted paedophile, you really start seeing the underbelly and everything that drives this need to be able to do anything he wants and take anything he wants, and just if he wants to rape a kid. He wants a young girl to do with what he should have it. He's royalty. In the real TV show, the dragons use their own money, but Andy is smarter, or greedier than that. He got high-profile business sponsors like Barclays, the accounting firm KMPG, the Standard Chartered Bank, and the telecoms company Inmarsat to put up the cash. So he's basically just acting like Santa Claus, I suppose, giving out, Happily, all of them have now pulled out over the prince's recent behaviour. Good, that's an upside. But you can see the insidiousness of it. He wants to be God giving money to people. He's not going to use his own money. Don't be stupid. He wants all the plaudits of the pictured palace. All the plaudits, yes, look how fantastic I am, but it's other people's money I'm giving away. Buckingham Palace issued a statement saying, quote, "The Duke will continue to work with what has been renamed Pitch and will look at how he takes this forward outside of his public duties and outside of Buckingham Palace. We recognise there will be a period of time while this transition takes place. I will assume the transition from Pitch at Palace to Pitch, dropping the Palace." And also, have you noticed there? It says the Duke. Says the Duke. Buckingham Palace issued a statement saying the Duke. He's a prince, isn't he? A Buckingham Palace starting to, even we're starting to, can we distance him, please? I suggest the period of time it takes for Randy Andy. Too much of a nice of a nickname, that is, isn't it? For a paedophile. The transition from Pitch to being anything will take the rest of his life and never happen. Meanwhile, Parliament has launched an investigation into the way the scheme was run as a private company. Well, I don't know about you in the chat, but I am so happy now I've found out that piece of information. We don't need to worry, everybody in the chat. Parliament is going to launch an investigation into the way this dodgy ass scheme was run. We don't have to worry about it. Parliament, they're on it, everyone. This is where it starts getting worse, this article does. And you really start to see the awfulness of what they're doing here. Another charity initiative set up by the Prince to help young women. Help young women trafficked for sex in India has been embroiled in allegations of mistreatment. a charity initiative he set up by the Prince to help young women. This is sick, this is the way they do this. Andrew started Key for Freedom in May 2012, soon after he was pictured walking with Epstein in Central Park, New York, following the paedophile billionaire's release from prison. Let me read that again. Just let it rattle around in your head a little bit. Andrew started, quote, Key for Freedom, which was this charity initiative that was set up by the Prince to help young women trafficked for sex in India. He started it in May 2012, soon after he was pictured walking with Epstein in Central Park, following his release from prison. Coinky-dink. He claimed his new charity would financially empower vulnerable women in India, young women in India, by selling their handmade fashion items in Britain through retailers including Topshop and the Buckingham Palace website. So not only has he set up a charity where, you know, he can prey on young women and maybe even film other people, his friends, preying on new women and, I don't know, setting up shit the way Jeffrey Epstein had his operation running. Not only could he do this and have then basically young girls on tap, but he's also going to make them fucking work like they're in workhouses making handmade fashion items. I think it's scarves. I think it's silk scarves with their bare hands. When you find out how much these women are paid per week, you're going to fucking vomit. However, the initiative soon fell into financial decline and is now largely inactive, despite being highlighted by the Prince and his family as a success story throughout the scandal of his association with Epstein. Throughout it all, he was like, yeah, I mean, we're doing this great thing for these women. In fact, exactly when the Prince's team was setting up the Key to Freedom project, its partner charity in India, the Women's Interlink Foundation, the WIF, which manages care homes for vulnerable children and young women, was being investigated by the Indian authorities. 10 girls aged between 12 and 15 had run away from one of the WIF's 2 homes for trafficked and orphaned girls, alleging that they were beaten by staff and generally mistreated. Trafficked and orphaned girls, then working at a fucking workhouse making scarves, getting beaten and mistreated. So the 10 girls between 12 and 15 that ran away who were mistreated, they're the lucky ones. What about the ones that didn't run away? Where the fuck are they now? In some global paedophile network being trafficked around by Epstein's fucking successor? WIF admits it did not tell the Prince about the investigation, which it says cleared the care home, but it refused to publish the official police report or its own internal report. Refused. WIF's founder, Aloka Mitra, dismissed the young women's complaints, stating, some of them said we did not get the correct kind of chapatis. People, honestly, they're sociopaths. Clearly, Prince Andrew and his team failed to conduct due diligence on his partner charity, as indeed they did with Key to Freedom, that also faces criticism that it gave false hope of financial security to the women making the hand-printed silk scarves, which were sold online at the Royal Collection shop. The Duke's website also claims the initiative has, quote, it's the one fucking thing on his website that I actually agree might be true. The Duke's website also claims the initiative has, quote, changed the fate of more than 100 vulnerable young women. Yeah, you're not wrong there. I suggest it has changed the fate of more than 100 vulnerable young women, to the point where their fate is far fucking worse now than it was before they got involved with one of his charities. It also claims it's still active, but WIF confirms no scarves have been available to buy through retailers for more of 18 months, and the only tiny orders for tote bags were placed. Those tote bags were given as gifts to guests at Andrew's daughter's Princess Eugenie's wedding last year. The young women who made them in India just got £1.50 per bag for something given away at his fucking daughter's wedding. By the way, that we paid for. His wedding, his daughter's wedding, Eugenie. We paid for that. One guest at the wedding was Sarajit Mitra, head of the Indian charity. I hope he was served the right kind of chapati. Here. Mitra, WIF's chief operating officer and son of the founder, has said that orders from Topshop declined after 2013 and stopped abruptly in June 2018 without any explanation from the prince or his team, which he described as, quote, rude. Despite this, oh, by the way, Topshop, that asshole, you know who, Philip Green? Yeah. It's a great big circle jerk, honestly. These people, they're all disgusting. Fucking climbing over them each other like a box of rats. It's just fucking vile. Despite this, in late August, a royal source close to the prince said he was particularly dismayed that his efforts to help victims of sex trafficking were being overlooked, while his connections with Epstein once again hit the headlines. It's just, you can't imagine the level of narcissism to actually be able to even consider to think that way. It's like a doctor. That headline there, that basically what he's saying, that I can't believe you're concentrating just on the Epstein stuff. What about where I'm trying to help girls? I know the Epstein stuff looks like I've been raping them, but what about the instances where it looks like I've helped them? It's like a doctor breaking somebody's legs repeatedly, but repeatedly fixing them, saying, I can't believe you're only concentrating on me smashing that poor bastard's knees in repeatedly, when every single time I fix them afterwards. Mitra also said the women earned an average of up to £150 per year. Get this, equivalent to 41 pence per day. Whilst the WIF took 40% of the price of any scarves that were sold. These the Topshop ones. The money from the sales is put into accounts for the workers, but it cannot be accessed without the permission from Mitra. They have these young girls locked up tight. They can't fucking move. These young girls can't. They can't access. They can't even access the 41 pence a day that they get paid in slave fucking labour to make these scarves. While some of them then no doubt get trafficked into some fucking awful, god-awful global paedophile ring. Reportedly, the women cannot leave the barbed wire compound, without guards who accompany them to shops to buy essential items that are not covered by the money the state pays to WIF. It's like these poor young women are being fucking indoctrinated here. This reminds me of how the Church of Scientology works. barbed wire fences keeping them in. If you've got to go outside, you've got to go with armed guards, especially, you know, people in the Church of Scientology have thought of being a bit of a problem going to one of their equivalents of a black site. It's very similar. And this is meant to be one of these charitable foundations that Prince Andrew set up. He's setting up here something that looks on paper to be the beginnings of his own little Epstein empire. Doesn't it? Doesn't it look here like he's trying to fucking emulate how his mate did things? Because he's certainly not on the side of the poor women. He's exploiting, at best, exploiting for 41 pence a day. At worst, sending off to be raped by God knows who around the world so he can blackmail them. I don't know, I'm just spitballing, but it does look like this is awful, awful, sick behaviour. The sort of awful, sick behaviour, by the way, that historically the powers that be in this country have swept under the table, under the rug. I'm thinking specifically Jimmy fucking Savile. They're going to try and do it again. They're going to try and say, oh, let's not let the truth come out against Prince Andrew and it can come out when he's dead. Is that what they're going to say? We'll let the truth come out about Prince Andrew when he's dead. We'll let the truth out about him. We'll tie it up and we'll get Jacob Rees on it. Call Jacob Rees-Mogg. Get the Privy Council on it. We'll get the Privy Council to tie it up, and then at an appropriate time, in the fullness of time, we'll allow it to come out. But obviously, it can't come out until Prince Andrew's dead and the royal family are long fucking gone. Is that what the plan is here? This is fucking sick what these people have been doing around the world. And you've been covering up for this behaviour for decades. Our institutions have been covering up for it. And now they want to do it again, to cover up for it again, whilst at the same time relying on the very people in this country, the workers, who they've been lying to and fucking screwing left, right and centre ever since I can remember. Keep working, stay in your homes, but you workers keep working your shitty wages, keep working for your minimum hours, and at the end of it, you'll all be on the scrap heap. We won't give a fuck, and we won't tell you the truth about Prince Andrew, and everything will continue the same. That is the fucking plan here, people. We are going to have to take it back from them. We are going to have to take what we deserve. We are going to have to fight for it. We are going to have to kick it up a stink. And we've got a perfect situation right now where we can really make them listen to us. Mitra was given copies of letters written by girls who had lived in the home where they expressed their unhappiness. One letter alleges girls in the home are badly treated, and when the children want to complain, they are told off and asked to be quiet about it. The British High Commission in India, oh God, the British High Commission in India was responsible for introducing the Duke to the WIF. Of course they were. The British High Commission in India. It has a wonderful reputation and history, doesn't it? One key member of the Prince's team, Amanda Thirsk, his private secretary, was at the centre of the Key to Freedom project. Thirsk was the one who advised the Prince to take part in his disastrous BBC Newsnight interview. She no longer works for him. You know what, when I saw that, I thought, I'm going to put on my conspiracy theory hat. I think actually somebody got to Amanda Thirsk. I think a guy just she'd never seen before, took Amanda Thirsk to one side and said, listen, advise the Prince to do that BBC interview, and you know what? Anything you've done in the past we'll overlook. Advise him to do the interview so he looks like a complete pillock, okay? That's my theory on this. Just a theory. Me being funny more than it. So don't quote me. And his ex-wife, Ferguson, came up with the Key to Freedom name. And Andrew's charitable trust donated £10,000 in seed capital. The initiative launched formally in 2013 with an order from Sir Philip Green's Topshop. We all know about Sir Philip Green and didn't he steal pensions or something like that? It was Me Too movement, wasn't it, with him? Honestly, they're all disgusting, these people are. But I was talking to somebody yesterday who walked away from a charity because they said charities now, they're not about charities. It's about how much money you can make. They're a money spinning enterprise. You know, when you're a charity and you go on a list, you've got all the names of all the other charities and all the other foundations and all the other people that you can send a letter. They just send a letter, send it to this people asking for money, send it to this people asking for money. So the Prince it's a big thick book like that with all the names of these foundations and what have you can write to. And you know, you've got things like Children in Need you can write to after you've been a charity for 5 years, etc. You can imagine the Prince and his foundations and his charities sending letters out. People fall over themselves to send money to him. Meanwhile, the people he's saying are helping are being treated as fucking slaves in India, getting paid 41 pence a day to manufacture scarves. And that's just what's on the surface. What's on the underbelly is they're probably being fucking trafficked into some global paedophile ring. It's disgusting, this is. Just like his refusal to talk about his relationship with Epstein, Andy's also saying nothing about these Indian charities and nor his Topshop, which was involved with the Key to Freedom product at the same time as top boss Green was himself facing allegations of sexual and racial harassment on staff. Andy and Fergie's latest scam is to get you and I, the taxpayer, to pay for his other daughter Beatrice's upcoming wedding. Beatrice, fuck you. Pay your own fucking wedding. Pay for your own wedding, you spoilt privileged bitch. Go to your daddy and say, Daddy, we don't want this. The British people don't want it. And if you don't, go fuck yourself. To pay for his other daughter Beatrice's upcoming wedding, just as we did for his daughter Eugenie's £3.5 million bash. Most amazing is that Andrew, disgraced cheat and scam artist, remains the 8th in line to the throne. They used to be thought of as divinity, the royal family did. So it's like, you know, to them in the royal family, it's like Andrew is he's the 8th most important person in the world, in God's eye. Ugh. Do we need any better argument to get rid of the whole steaming shit heap that calls itself the monarchy? I say we don't, and I would also like to say a big tip of the hat for that fucking excellent article by Peter Fry. We are ruled by absolute fucking disgusting. They're disgusting. I don't even want to call them humans. They're not. They're inhuman. And I say it's about time we got rid of this fucking stupid thing that we call the monarchy. Don't you? I think it's far past. I think I'm done for tonight. Mario Dukic in the chat. Thank you very much. Just continue to expose those privileged sons of bitches. I will, Mario. Thank you very much for your donation. And to Mard UK GKOB. $100 in the chat. Thanks very much, man. Not my prince. The only prince I ever had changed his name to some weird symbol. Yes. Why is it always the greatest? You know. So sad, you know. Why did Prince have to go? Why not Bono? All right, everybody. I think that's me for tonight. That's what 3 or 4 videos I've cut for tonight. I'll drop those tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to be live the plan is live every day this month until I go insane, I suppose, which, as you can probably tell, is not that far away. Thanks very much for your support. Thanks very much for all of your super chats. Please stay safe, stay indoors if you can. Look after your community and your family. If there are any elderly neighbours around in your area, anybody lonely who doesn't go out, etc., put a little note through their door just to say, if ever you need anything, here's my number. You know, reach out to your fellow man and really come together. We've got a few months of this. We need to get organised and we need to start demanding things, because the way we have been ruled by these complete and utter fucking monsters has been disgusting. It's gone on for far too long. We've been passive and docile in it for far too long. Being bigoted and being ignorant to it in the age of the era of the internet. It's a choice now. If you want to be bigoted and ignorant, that's a choice. Let's have some conversations and let's try and figure out a better way forward. I'll be back tomorrow about 7 p.m. GMT. About 7. That's the plan anyway. I'll announce it as early as I can tomorrow because I want to do this wisdom of the crowd thing. So try and get as many people watching as possible, because obviously the more people involved, the wider sample we'll get and the more accurate it will be. Thank you very much for all your help, everybody. Thank you very much for listening to me. Stay safe in there. I need to say out there. Stay safe. Stay indoors if you can. If you know somebody who is a worker, who is working hard during this time, explain to them this is a real opportunity for us all to start demanding we take some of these rights back that these motherfuckers have been taking from us under cover of darkness for years. Take care, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye-bye.